Hello children, welcome back to your English class. I'm sure everything's going well, you all are good. Students, today we are going to start with another topic of grammar, conjunctions. First of all, let's know what are conjunctions. What do we mean by conjunctions? Conjunctions are the words that join words, phrases, clauses and sentences. This you all have been studying since long. That these are the words that join sentences, words, phrases and clauses. Right? Let's take some examples. The vendor sold fruits and vegetables. So here two words, fruits and vegetables, are joined by the word and, which is a conjunction. Right? Let's take some more. Nimesh wore a blue t-shirt and a red cap. So here we have joined two phrases, blue t-shirt, a red cap, right? So we have joined these two phrases by the word and, which is a conjunction. Salman bought a car but he did not drive it. So here but is used to join two sentences. Salman bought a car and the other sentence is he did not drive it. So these are the two sentences and we have joined these sentences using but. So here but is the conjunction. I don't know what the problem is. So here students, we have joined main clause and subordinate clause. Now you will wonder that what are these two terms? Actually students, main clause is that part of the sentence which makes its own meaning. That means वो अपने आप से अपना meaning create करता है. But subordinate clause doesn't make its complete meaning. And it depends on main clause to give the complete meaning. So subordinate clause is always, it is used with main clause because subordinate clause का अपना कोई complete meaning नहीं होता. And it uses main clause to complete its meaning. And main clause का अपना meaning होता है. Right? So conjunctions are also used for joining main clause and subordinate clause, like it was there in this sentence. I don't know is the main clause. The problem is subordinate clause. So we have used the conjunction what to join these two. Right? So these are the words which are used to join words, phrases, clauses or sentences. Right? Now let's know its classification. How is it divided? So on the basis of their function, conjunctions can be divided into two: coordinating conjunctions, which are also called coordinators, and subordinating conjunctions, which are also known as subordinators. Okay, these are the two types of conjunctions. So we are going to know about them in detail now. First of all, let's know about coordinators, or we can say coordinating conjunctions. Okay, now we use coordinators to join words, phrases or sentences of same rank or they are similar, like of the same category, right? So basically students, let's know about them through some types. Like coordinators can be single word also or correlative also. Let's see these coordinators. Just see these: and, but, yet, nor, so. These are single word coordinators. This you all can see, single word hai inme. Like he was angry but controlled himself. He was angry but. So what is but here? But is a coordinator because it is joining these two, right? But it is a single word coordinator because but is a single word, right? In the same way we have correlative coordinators like either or, both and, neither nor, not only, but. So basically students, these are the coordinators which are used together, like either or. हमेशा साथ में use होते हैं sentence में, either or, neither nor. Okay, these are the ones, both and. These are used together and they are of which type? Correlative. They are related to each other. Just see the example. Either you are lying or you are totally ignorant. या तो आप झूठ बोल रहे हो या फिर totally आप ignorant हो, आपने ignore किया उस चीज़ को. So either and or, both are used together. They are correlatives. This you have started in your previous class also. He is neither a sailor nor knows any foreign language. So basically neither nor साथ में use हुए हैं, either or साथ में use हुए हैं. They are correlatives, right? So these are correlative coordinators and the previous one were single word. Okay, now let's see some functions of coordinators. Coordinator may simply join or add one statement to other. So though coordinators which join or add one statement to other, they are cumulative coordinators. Like, I learned French, I learned Russian. So we have joined these two sentences by I learned French as well as Russian. So as well as is cumulative coordinator. क्यों है cumulative? Because इसने सिर्फ दो sentences को simply join किया है, right? As well as is cumulative coordinators. Now adversative. Now what are adversative? To show contrast between two statements. Comparison is being made sort of, right? Contrast दिखा रहे हो आप. I played the sitar, my friend sang. I played the sitar while my friend sang. That means मैंने तो सितार play किया and my friend, मेरे friend ने, he just sang. So while is used. Okay, and while here is adversative क्योंकि आप comparison कर रहे हो दोनों में. One played sitar, other sang. So comparison is being made between the two. So that is adversative coordinators, right? When you are comparing. Now next come alternative coordinators. Alternative you all know when we have a choice. You all know alternative when you are having a choice. So alternative coordinators offer a choice between two alternatives like otherwise, or, else, either or, neither nor. Let's take an example. Take a raincoat, you will get wet. Take a raincoat, nahi to, or otherwise you will get wet. So otherwise is alternative coordinator. Because choice is shown that whether आप raincoat लो और आपको you will get wet. So you are having choice whether to take the raincoat or get wet. Okay, so alternative coordinators are used for choices. Next one, elative conjunction, or you can say elative coordinators which are used to suggest an inference or reason. जब भी आप reason या inference दे रहे हो, that time you'll use elative coordinators or conjunctions. Taro was bored, Taro played video games. Taro was bored, so he played video games. So what is so here? Elative coordinator, because it is showing us the reason. क्योंकि हमें reason बता रहा है. Because it is showing us the reason that because he was bored, he played video games. So we have seen 4 parts: elative, cumulative, adversative and alternative, right? So these are the 4 coordinators, right? Now one important note, students, when a coordinating conjunction, or you can say a coordinator, joins independent clause. Now do you all know the meaning of independent? That when you are not dependent on someone. Independent means जब आपको किसी की ज़रूरत नहीं, you are independent, you don't need anyone for your help, right? That is independent. So when a coordinating conjunction is used for independent clauses, what we put a comma before the conjunction. So students, whenever जब भी आप कोई coordinator use करते हो to join independent clause, independent clause को join करने के लिए जो अपना meaning खुद दे रहा है, ऐसे clause को join करने के लिए if you are using a coordinator, you will always put a comma before the conjunction or coordinator. Coordinator से पहले हमेशा आप क्या लगाएंगे? एक comma लगाएंगे, right? This you have to keep in your mind. So what all we have seen? We have seen the definition of coordinators, right? Single word and correlative coordinators, functions of coordinators in which we have seen cumulative, which simply join a two statements, adversative, contrast, alternative when we have choices, and elative when we are suggesting any reason, right? So this is all we have seen about coordinators. Now let's talk about the other kind. So what was the next kind of conjunction? First one was coordinators, or you can say coordinating conjunctions. Second one was subordinators or subordinating conjunctions. So let's know about subordinators now. Simply students, subordinators are the words which introduce subordinate clause. Okay, वो words जो introduce, that means starting में use होते हैं, right? Introduce means you are starting something. So they are used to introduce subordinate clause. But first of all, we should know that what is a subordinate clause. एक subordinate clause क्या होता है? Let's see that. These are the ones which do not make complete sense on their own. That means ये subordinate clauses जो होते हैं, they don't make complete sense by their own. They are used with main clause to create a full sentence, right? We have seen in it, right? Subordinate are the ones which are used with main clause to create a full sentence or full meaning, because they cannot stand by their own. उनका अपना complete meaning नहीं होता है. They are always used with main clause to give them a complete meaning. अच्छा स्टूडेंट्स, आपने ये टर्म सुनी होंगी, मेन क्लॉज, सबॉर्डिनेट. सबॉर्डिनेट का मीनिंग क्या होता है? सबॉर्डिनेट इज व्हेन वी वर्क अंडर सम. दैट मीन्स आप किसी के अंडर वर्क कर रहे हो, लाइक समवन इज हेड एंड यू आर working under that person. So main clause is the head and subordinate clause is the one who's working under main clause. ये आपको देखना है, right? You have to understand it like this, that main clause is the head because it has its own meaning and subordinate clause is dependent on whom? Main clause. ठीक है, जैसे एक बॉस होता है, right? बॉस के अंडर जो वर्क करते हैं those are subordinates and boss is the main head. Okay, same way main clause is the boss because it is having its own meaning and subordinates are the ones which need boss for their work. Same way subordinate clauses need main clause to complete their meaning. Okay, now what are subordinators? Subordinators वो words होते हैं जो आपके subordinate clause को introduce करते हैं, starting होती है जहाँ से, right? Let's take one example. I looked on the top of the fridge where mother usually keeps all the letters. Now just listen and just see the statement carefully. I looked on the top of the fridge. Now this sentence in red is the main clause. Can you guess why? Because it is giving its own meaning. It doesn't require any other word or sentence to complete its meaning. I looked on the top of the fridge. Simple. And meaning bhi clear hai, right? But just see the black part where mother usually keeps all the letters. Do you think meaning of this black part is clear by its own? अगर red part नहीं हो तो आपको clear meaning दिख रहा है black part का? Where mother usually keeps all the letters. Although it is giving meaning but incomplete meaning. Okay, and how is it completing its meaning? Its meaning with the use of main clause. जैसे ही main clause आया है subordinate clause का meaning clear हो गया है, otherwise इसका meaning clear नहीं होता, right? I looked on top of the fridge is giving us complete meaning, that's why it's a main clause. Okay, and other one in black is subordinate clause which is using main clause to complete its meaning, right? Now subordinators here, subordinator here is where. अच्छा, why where is subordinator? Because it is used to introduce the subordinate clause. देखा आपने starting में use हो रहा है subordinate clause के where before the word mother. Why it will be a subordinator. Subordinate clause depends on main clause to make its meaning clear. So word where introduces subordinate clause. It is called subordinating conjunction or subordinator. Of subordinators, just see though, although, that, what, because, before, after, unless, how, while. So these are some common examples or just examples of subordinators, right? Now let's see some examples, okay, students. So where is the subordinator? Because it is introduced, starting में use हुआ है ना subordinate clause के where, that's why where is a subordinator here, or you can say subordinating conjunction. Students, now let's see some of the functions of subordinators or subordinating conjunctions, right? Let's see them. First one, it joins a subordinate clause to the main clause, obviously, like where joined, right? The word where, so they join subordinate clause to main clause. And subordinators must be placed at the beginning of the subordinate clause. So I have already told you subordinators will always come at the beginning of subordinate clause, right? वो हमेशा subordinate clause जो अपना meaning खुद नहीं देता है clause उसके starting में आएंगे, right? When subordinate clause come before main clause. Now it's not necessary that always main clause will come in front and then subordinate clause. Subordinate clause may also come in the beginning. So when subordinate clause come before main clause, we separate the two with a comma after subordinate clause. Subordinate clause के बाद में आप comma place करोगे just to separate it from the main clause. Got it? So these were some of the functions of subordinating conjunctions. Like, even though I studied hard, I was nervous. Now just see the blue part. Can you see the blue part? Even though I studied hard. It is the subordinate clause because it is not giving a complete meaning, right? But in this underlined part, even though is the subordinator because it is introducing the subordinate clause, and black part is the main clause because it is giving a complete meaning. Did you see? You have just placed a comma after hard. You have placed a comma after subordinate clause just to separate it from the main clause. Okay, so you have to place a comma. Now students, single word subordinators. Just see, after although, though, once, as, before, because, you all can see these all are single word coordinators. We wondered whether you would come. So whether is a single word subordinator. We have seen single word coordinators. So here whether is introducing subordinate clause and it's a single word subordinate. Now compound subordinators. You all know compound, mix of two or more than one. Even if, even though, in order that, provided that, rather than, do that, if, etc. So these are compound subordinators which are more than one. We eat so that we may live. We eat so that we may live. So here subordinate clause is we may live, and so that is used as a subordinator and it is of two words. So it's a compound subordinator. The main clause here, main clause is we eat. Okay, and we may live is subordinate clause, and subordinator so that is introducing the clause, subordinate clause, right? Now same way we are having correlatives which are used together. जैसे हमने coordinators में पढ़ा था ना, correlative coordinator. Same way we are having correlative subordinator. Such that, so that. It was such a boring movie that we left halfway through. Such and that. देखो, they both are used together. These are correlative subordinators. So हमेशा साथ में use होते हैं. One more important thing, subordinating conjunctions or subordinators, they provides transitions. Now these conjunction provides transition. Transition is like changes, you can say, right? Like they may indicate time, place, purpose, condition, cause and effect, right? Like let's take an example. He'll be allowed to go out after he finishes his work. So after here is indicating time. Okay, in the same way, we invited her lest she should feel hurt. So here purpose is being described. We invited her. क्यों invite किया उन्होंने? Lest. Otherwise क्या होता? She should have felt bad. Okay, so here lest is denoting purpose, and lest is used as a subordinator because it is introducing subordinate clause. She should feel hurt. We invited her is the main clause. Please tell me where the keys are kept. So where is indicating place here. Okay, so there are number of transitions: place, purpose, time, etc. So students, this was about coordinators and subordinators, some rules, types, classifications and all. I hope you all have understood. In case you have issue, contact me, and don't get confused in clauses because we are going to study clauses in detail. We are having a separate chapter for clauses, right? So don't be confused. In this chapter, you just need to know that main clause is the main head. That means you can say which gives its complete meaning, and subordinate clause is the clause which requires main clause to give it or complete its meaning, right? Subordinate clause को main clause की help चाहिए होती है just to complete its meaning, right? Other part we'll do in this chapter of clauses, right? I hope you all have understood all the rules and all. In case you have any doubt, contact me, students. I'll see you all in your next class. Till then, just take care, students. Thank you.